Hello, and welcome to another episode of Rugby Through the Leagues podcast. Hopefully you enjoyed the other day when we had Mario Bacardi on, the Spain captain, but now we've gone across to the Iberian Derby side, and we've brought Tomás Appleton on. Thomas, really appreciate your time, mate, and we obviously caught up briefly after the Iberian Derby. Hopefully this is in a bit of a better situation than the raw conversation that we had afterward.
No, thanks a lot, man. Thanks a lot for the invitation, and I'm glad to be here.
Perfect. So for those that don't know, you're currently Portugal captain. You play over in the top 12 as well. Can you give us a little bit of a roundup of your rugby escapades so far?
I've been captain for the national team since 2019. I also play in the Portuguese top 12. There is the currently top tier Portuguese division.
Yeah.
I play for CDUL. It's my first club. It's my academy club. Is where I was born and raised.
Nice.
In CDUL. So yeah, that's the thing at the moment.
Awesome. Because you also sort of pull the shirt on occasionally for Lusitanos as well in the Super Cup, or not as often?
Exactly. So what happens is the union has the Lusitanos, who is a franchise.
Yeah.
And the idea is for the union to get the best players of the national championship, and as like kind of a preparation, I would say, for the national team as well. It's like I don't want to call it satellite club on the national team, but it has a connection, definitely.
Yeah. It's, when I was speaking to Mario the other day as well, it sort of utilises a bit of a development for the sort of the first team as well, with the experienced pros and upcoming pros. Is that similar to how the Lusitanos is used, or
more or less? So the big thing is, as the Portuguese championship is amateur. What we want to do with the Lusitanos is to expose the players who are based in Portugal to ideally a higher level of rugby. Of course, when you have the Lusitanos and you join in the players coming from France, from the professional championships, that's what you call the national team. But of course, it's a development team, but a way to get even the most experienced players based in Portugal to a higher level of rugby. That's the purpose of that.
So obviously as you mentioned, you've been with your club pretty much all of your career. I did have a look and saw that you dotted over to England for a little bit and played for Darlington. How did the weather compare from Portugal?
That's a tough question. So the weather was not great, honestly. It was just right next to Newcastle up north.
Yeah,
and the weather was not great. I was not used at all to get dark at 3:00 in the afternoon. So that was a new thing for me. No, but it was a great rugby experience. I was 23 back then, and it was a good chance to get away. But then a lot of things going on. I wanted to play for the national team a lot as well. I wanted to play for the Sevens of Portugal as well. I had university pending, and then I just decided to come back. But it was really worth it to be in England.
How did you think that developed your career as well, going across into the English leagues as well? Because it's not quite pro, but it's sort of semi-pro sort of level because of the players and stuff.
Back then, Darlington, and I think they're still nowadays, they're fully pro, but they are the only, not the only, but like there are 2 or 3 teams that are fully pro on that competition. And of course, it was the national team was way different back then, and that was my first professional contact with rugby, and it was a massive change for us. But then, as we came back, of course, English league is a bit different from Portuguese. It's a lot of it has a really fast tempo, but still they rely a lot on size and strength. And Portuguese championship is way different. We have a lot of talent in the Portuguese championship, and we just rely on speed and skill and everything. So that's and I think you can see that in the national team. I think it's the same. And of course, he was playing with some big lads. It was kind of like a shock. But then as I moved back to Portugal, everything started to get more professional in 2019. As Patrice Lagisquet was coming to the national team, the professionalism of the national team was like a pro club. So that was like the thing.
So obviously, as you mentioned, though, the top 12 is an amateur league in Portugal as well. So have you got players that are centrally contracted to the national side as well to support that, or is there clubs that also are able to pay teams, or how does that work out?
So every team, like I would say, top 12. So every year it kind of changes a bit the way we play the national championship. For example, this year we did the top 12, but then at just around Christmas, there was a split between top 6 and bottom 6, and so sometimes it's a bit hard to generalize how the way the clubs work. But I would say the top six teams, they would have something like a 40-man squad. They would have 7, 8, 9, 10. Some of them who are fully professional, but they're all players coming from abroad. So foreign players that the clubs get based on their necessities. Like most common necessity in Portugal is front row. So, like I would say, like 50% of the professional players in the top 6 are from front row. But then what we have is when we're representing the Lusitanos, we get a compensation from the union for what we are losing at work.
Okay.
It ideally works like that, and it works more or less the same in the national team, but it doesn't work that well.
Yeah.
So it's like a tough path to go.
Because you're a dentist as well, is that correct?
Yeah. So
I had noticed how good your teeth were, so it was probably a fundamental of that job role.
No, actually, I'm a dentist and I'm a doctor as well. So I did both.
Oh wow!
I just finished my medicine degree. I did my dental medicine, my dentistry degree.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I finished in 2018, and then I had like a midlife crisis, and I decided to go for medicine, and I just finished.
Amazing. So that must have been quite hard to do along. So this is probably a bit that people don't always discuss. Obviously, rugby only lasts so long as well, and you've also got another career alongside. Obviously, you went over to England with a pro contract. Were you kind of thought, could I make it full time as a pro, or did you realise that there was potentially that path wasn't as long, and that's why you wanted to stay with dentistry and become a doctor and stuff? How did that?
I think it was a bit of both. So I would never imagine myself like living my whole life around rugby. I think this is a personal that a lot of players who are able, and even in Portugal, players who move to France and move to England, who they see their whole life around rugby.
Yeah.
I don't see myself, because since I was a kid, I had a dream of becoming a doctor. Honestly, if you ask me now, I would like to have had a more solid career in rugby, in professional rugby.
Yeah.
Then things happen. I started to have a pretty stable life here in Portugal. I was enjoying rugby. I was really, really enjoying rugby in the last, I would say, 10 years. So when I played in England, it was 2015 and 16.
Yeah. So
it's been 10 years since I'm back in Portugal, and I've been enjoying my rugby, and life has been pretty good. So I'm not, of course, after the World Cup, a few things got onto the table, but yeah, I would have to be a pretty solid offer to get me moving and getting me just focusing on rugby, get my wife, my kids moving abroad. So yeah, there was the chance was there. I was, so when I signed that contract, I was sure that I would have the biggest regret if I didn't take that shot. So yeah, I did it, and I'm pretty happy with it.
Nice. That's amazing to hear, because a lot of players would probably be wondering what if, and you've also been able to do both sides of it. So you've had your opportunity, you found your life, you found another career afterwards as well. But by the sounds of it, you had your hands full, mate. So you're full-time dentist, rugby player, husband, parent, and then decided to do a degree on top. Yeah. That was... you must have just not slept for however many years. Like, how does that work?
So yeah, the last few years have been tough. Honestly, no, I'm gonna be honest. So
Yeah.
I cannot tell it was easy, especially when I started. So I had a like pretty stable and happy life, and when I decided to take medicine.
Yeah.
And my daughter, my first daughter, my daughter, I have a daughter and a son, and
Yeah.
my daughter was born the year I started medicine.
Wow.
So that was tough to manage, but like as in rugby, I got my pride.
Yeah.
I was so like, man, I have to finish this degree. I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it.
Yeah.
And then I just did it. I was not the best of students, but yeah, I managed to do it.
Yeah, it's amazing. That's really impressive. So, do your kids also play rugby? Are they both involved or
No. So
no?
my daughter is 4 years old now,
Yeah.
and my kid is 3 months. So
Oh, okay. Not quite yet then.
yeah, not quite yet.
Yeah, that's amazing. So obviously your club, I pronounce it as CDUL, but it's obviously it's not.
It's cool. Yeah, but
Cool. So what is their sort of rivals? Because obviously I've looked into the top 12 a little bit and seen enough and seen how exciting it is as a league, but there's obviously going to be pockets of rivalry. Obviously, you've got Benfica is Lisbon, and you've got is it Cascais as well? Is it?
Yeah, Cascais. So it has been changing a lot. I would say like the biggest CDUL rivals are a club called Direito. When I started to play senior rugby,
Yeah.
like the two teams who reached the finals every single year was CDUL and Direito. So that's why I think the rivalry is like really really big. But
Yeah.
year the last few years, Belenenses did an amazing job. They've been champions for, I would say, like 5 times in the last 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
Cascais is really developing as well. They didn't manage to win the league yet, but their last 5 to 6 years were really really good, as they were standing in the second division a few years, like 10 years ago. So I say they have a really solid project. Of course, Benfica associated with a football club.
Yeah.
They have a lot of resources that most clubs don't have.
Hmm.
And they're building their project. They're having a bit of growth pain, but I think they'll get there. And it's really important for Portuguese rugby to develop a lot of teams. Of course, I think we have a massive problem in rugby in Portugal, is that most of the top teams, they are in Lisbon.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to get people from the interior of Portugal, for even smaller cities, to start to play rugby, because they don't have the club, they don't have a club, they don't have access to rugby. And I think that's a big struggle. And just getting to another point, so in Portugal we don't have that many registered, I'm not sure how do you say it in English, but a lot of registered athletes playing rugby. We have something like 5,000 or 8,000 athletes. It's
okay.
But it's not that many. But after the hype we had after the World Cup,
Yeah.
we want to have the base of the pyramid really really wide, and get a lot of kids involved and start to play rugby and everything. So, but if you can compare to teams like Spain, if you can compare to UK, of course, is the whole different level. But even Germany, the Netherlands, and whoever, they have a lot more players than us. So
Yeah.
of course, if we can manage that and widen up the base of the pyramid, that would be amazing for us.
Yeah, because so is there many like grassroots clubs under the top 12? Is there random clubs that are outside of that, or is everything sort of filtered into the big clubs in the region and the areas and stuff?
Of course, there are a few. I'm not sure about the numbers, but I saw there are something like 50 clubs, 50 rugby clubs around Portugal.
Right.
But for example, you have in the bigger Lisbon area, I would say you have something like 30 to 35. And then you have like one alone club in Algarve, and then you have 2 clubs up north in Porto. And we're talking about many people, many thousands, millions of people in those places that they don't have access to rugby. And of course, when it gets to these clubs, they like the academies, for example, from my club, we have a lot of kids. For example, if you go to under 8s and under 10s, you have 80, 100 kids training. So those are good numbers. But if you go to to a local club in a small, I would not say village, but even in a small city like 30 kilometers away from Portugal, you'll have 5 kids training, and that's the struggle.
Go on then, I'm going to put you on the spot. What do you think is the fix? How do you change that in Portugal?
So first of all, I think we have to get into schools. So sports school
Is it not done at normal schools? Is it only done at sports schools, or is it?
There are not many schools who have rugby into it. Of course, like for example, my club, we have like a protocol with one school, but like it's not a thing that is taken seriously, like through all schools and everything. Rugby doesn't even take part of like physical education plans. So I think first of all, the union has a major role on getting schools involved, do a work not just here in Lisbon, but go to smaller cities, go to the interior of Portugal, try to get the word of rugby spread. And as you know, the values of rugby, they're not just around the sports itself, is how you deal with discipline, how you deal with respect to the other, with respect to the referee, with respect to your teammates, with the respect to the opponent. And these are the kind of values that I think that Portugal as itself should give to kids, should give to the population. And that's how good of a rugby, how good of a vehicle rugby can be. And I think that would be the first act. And then of course is give access to everyone. As I would say that, and this is not even just in rugby, in a lot of things, we have a lot of people just living in the coast of Portugal, and we don't have access in the interior. For example, this is a funny story, but so we went to play with the Lusitanos to Spain. We went to play in Burgos, I reckon. It was Burgos. So last time...
Burgos, up that way. Yeah.
Exactly. So the last time we played against the Spanish franchise, and me and 3 other players, we drove there because we have to work, we had meetings, I had appointments. And when we were going there, we stopped by a gas station, and the guy who was working in the gas station, this was something like next to the border with Spain, and the guy in the gas station was like, "I know you guys are from the national team of Portugal." And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Man, I've been trying to play rugby. I've been trying to get into rugby for so long, and I have no idea how can I do it. I've sent emails to wherever, clubs and union and everything, and I cannot get anywhere to play rugby in here." And this shows exactly what I mean. We need access to rugby to everyone. Of course, this is a really hard job for the union to do, but we have to start somewhere. And of course, this will have to be as important as the development of the top tier teams in Portugal, as we need to develop the Lusitanos as, I think, a professional team, and as we need to develop the national team, because the biggest trigger to get people involved in rugby, it's the good results of the top of the pyramid. And after you have no idea about the hype that we had after the World Cup in 2023. We were everywhere, and we need to make that. So I don't know what's the call in English, but we had to pick up the fruit, to pick up the results from that.
It's sort of low-hanging fruit of easy opportunities and stuff, because it was the same in England though. So England have obviously, they won the World Cup in 2003, and there was this massive boom and acceleration of everyone wanting to play rugby. That's also dwindled because there's not the appetite, as you said. So a lot of people say we've got to support grassroots, but you've also got to grow the top to success for people to then want to reach the success.
Yeah, exactly. It's a of course it's a fine line between that balance and develop like the top of the pyramid and the base of the pyramid. But if you have I think if you have a really, really strong base, the rest will come for themselves. If you have really good clubs in the base, if you have really good academies, if you have really good development, a lot of players playing rugby.
Yeah.
Then they will get into senior rugby. They will start to play better if they see a potential and if they see a professional opportunity. They will go for it, and then you'll develop the pyramid by itself. Because, for example, we have a massive bottleneck here in Portugal. Is that when you go from under 18s, under 20s to senior rugby, you have that massive challenge that you have to go for university. And for example, you pretty much don't have rugby in universities. And so most players have to make a decision. Should I go for 100% 100% focus on university, or will I go for 100% focus on rugby? Because they think they cannot do both at the same time. Honestly, I'm not a big example because I think I did pretty well on these. But then when it comes to the work, like the job market, they have to take another decision. For example, we had a player after the World Cup who decided, like, I'm done with rugby. I'm gonna focus on my career. I am done with university. I did the World Cup 2023, and I'm done. I'm going for professional for a company. I'm working for a company, and he was 22. So imagine if we lose. Portugal lost one of their biggest his biggest talents. Because he didn't see a future in rugby. And then, of course, when you start to build a family, when you have kids, when you have other responsibilities, you cannot throw everything away because of rugby. You have to make decisions.
Yeah, a family's not cheap either, are they? And if rugby don't pay the bills, it's hard. Do you think there's enough exposure of the top 12 within Portugal and outside of it? Obviously, I've been able to see it because I'm within Rugby Europe and stuff like that, and obviously understand it. But I know there is stuff going on behind the scenes that's trying to give that opportunity to more. But do you think that other countries, a wider audience would also help develop? I think the same issues in Spain. It's in every, but exposure of your top league is critical to help you progress as a country and within the development underneath.
It is, of course. I think so. I think this will get into a spiral because, for example, if we don't have exposure, you don't have sponsorship for the clubs. If you don't have sponsorship for the clubs, you don't have enough money to pay facilities. You don't have to pay enough money to pay for resources. You don't have enough money to pay for good coaches, for players. So this is all becomes a spiral. So if we can get out of that spiral, having the exposure that we need, then amazing. Of course, I think, for example, we need to have our games from top tier broadcasted. That's the
broadcast.
Broadcast. We need to get more companies involved, not in the clubs itself, but in the league. Honestly, at this moment, this might be a controversial opinion, but I would say
perfect. Love it. Let's go for it.
No, but I would say that the union should not take care of the national championship. I would say to go private.
Okay.
So the union, in my opinion, they have to be responsible for the national teams. And development. You've seen it all over different sports. For example, in football, the top three divisions, they're the top three divisions of football. They don't belong to the union. And I think we should do the same with rugby. But because the union, they lack resources, they lack staff, and sometimes things, they just don't go wrong, and the clubs don't always agree with the union. So if we have a private thing, we can have private sponsorships. Everyone will be on board. It might be a bit harder for smaller clubs to develop and then reach this kind of professionalism that I imagine. I would say that we'll have a lot of benefits from it.
That's the thing, and then it's one less thing that the union would have to focus on, as you say, because
exactly,
a union can't do everything. Obviously, even with you look at the top 14, it's not part of the French union. It kind of does whatever it wants, and if it wants to let players go and play international, it picks and chooses. The main interest is the top 14. So there must be that, as you said, we've got to find a middle ground for leagues and teams and stuff to develop and find outsource finances, because it can't keep coming through one funnel and not distribute properly. So it could be a really interesting way. Do you think that's likely, though?
I know there are some plans going on for that, but there I know there has been some talks about it, but honestly, I'm not sure when it's going to happen. Not sure if it's going to happen before the World Cup 2027. I think it should.
Yeah.
I think I have a lot of of opinions about how rugby should develop. I've been here quite a few years.
Yeah.
I've been playing for the national team. I've been playing senior rugby for more than 10 years, more than 15 years. I've been playing in the national team for more than 10 years. I have a few opinions on how things should go. But one other thing that I really think it should happen is the like Lusitanos should go pro, have to go pro. There's no other way to do it. And you've seen the results. You've seen the results with Jaguares when they were playing Super Rugby in Argentina. You've seen the results with Japan when they're having Sunwolves. Black Lions for Georgia. You've seen it all over. Even Fiji and Drua in the last few years have an amazing development for their countries. And even I think Moana Pacifica in a few years will shoot. So I think Portugal should go with that. We cannot keep sending a few players to France, but then we have so much talent in players based in Portugal that don't want to leave Portugal. You cannot waste that talent.
No.
Because in a universe where you have 5,000 or 6,000 players playing rugby, you have such raw talent, and you've seen the players that we are sending to France, and
phenomenal.
The way we played in the World Cup, we cannot waste that talent.
No, because I spoke to Simon, the head coach, after the Iberian derby, and I think I pissed him off a little bit because I said that you play your best rugby when it's chaotic, but I meant that in a good way, because it's organised chaos. You want to try and pass the ball quickly, get the ball around, make the other team make mistakes to give you an opportunity. Is that something that's always been part of Portuguese rugby? Just play what's in front of you and just see if it sticks. If it doesn't, then it hasn't.
So I think it will always be in the Portuguese DNA to play in that kind of a good chaotic system, because we see opportunities through the hands, through fast rugby, to a fast tempo rugby, and I think we will never rely on like slow and strong set piece. When I'm saying strong, is like pure strength, and we're not going for the penalty and try to win the scrum to go and win games through that. Of course, we want to have stable set piece to play our rugby, but we want to play fast tempo, edge to edge, and explore opportunities on that chaotic system, definitely. And I think every coach will be insane if they don't get that kind of system into Portuguese rugby.
Obviously, the chaotic style of rugby within Portugal also plays into a really good position of the sevens as well, because you guys really enjoy your sevens rugby because it's fast, it's quick, it's perfect opportunity. Obviously, you played at the sevens as well. Do a lot of clubs use it as a sort of a development point for players? Do they sort of say go and play some sevens and come back and find that opportunity, or is it just a good way of just enjoying rugby?
I think honestly it changed a lot, even I would say worldwide, since I think so. I played sevens quite a lot, but especially in my young years in the national team, and even when I was doing 15 aside and sevens aside, it was a while ago. And I think as the sevens got into the Olympic as an Olympic sport, I think it changed a lot. You had the big shift on the way, like most unions face the sport. So Portugal had their opportunities in the world circuit. We played many tournaments in the world circuit. We were resident for a few years. I was lucky enough to play in a few of them. But still, it changed a lot. And nowadays, I think we have to see it as we used to see it a lot as a development way to get the players into the 15 aside team.
Yeah.
I think even other unions used to do it. New Zealand did it a lot. A lot of players went through the sevens before they reached the All Blacks. But nowadays, I think it's kind of different. I think the sport is a bit different since it got as an Olympian sport, and
Yeah.
honestly, I'm not sure how Portugal should face the sevens. We are struggling in the last few years to get again into the world circuit. So I think we would have to, instead of focusing on that team developing players to get to the 15 aside, I think we should probably get into a better level. Focus, like, get a few players, get them training just for sevens for a few years, develop a solid sevens team, then have good results, reach into the higher competitions, and then you can start to send a few players in, but have that core group of players that will be the residents of that team. I would see it that way.
Shame that World Rugby are trying to ruin the sevens game by removing series and leagues and legs, and it's...
Yeah, the thing it was so good, and the sevens, the world circuit was like such a good show and such a good spectacle for fans and everything. I remember the first time I played in Hong Kong sevens was amazing. The atmosphere, the crowds, everything. It was insane. The first time I stepped on Twickenham on the sevens was insane. And nowadays has been changing. It changed a lot. Honestly, I cannot say it's better or worse in terms of rugby by itself, but in terms of like the environment and everything, I think he was a step down. Honestly, I didn't think a lot about it. I'm not sure why. But yeah.
So the main reason we're doing this podcast is Ireland are coming to town.
Yeah, Ireland is coming to town. So
how has the conversation gone within the camp, within the group? Obviously, it's not quite the full Irish side because obviously majority of them are off on the Lions tour. But what an opposition to having in Lisbon as well. That's the main thing, isn't it?
It's gonna be amazing. But I think after the World Cup, we have. I would go with even back. So when I first started to play for the national team, we were playing second tier European rugby.
Yeah.
Then we got depromoted into the third tier of European rugby.
Yeah.
And the biggest team that we faced for 10 years was Georgia. They were the best team we faced for 10 years. And then in 2021, we played Japan. It was the first game of Portugal against a top 10 team in like 20 years since the World Cup 2007.
Wow.
And then we had the chance to play Japan, and we just had kind of a surprise how good we were against a team that was so different from us, and especially knowing that 1.5 years ago we were playing in the third division of European rugby. And I think that was like the biggest shock. And then we faced Italy. We were winning until the last 10 minutes, and we started to understand, we're not that bad. And then of course with the World Cup, with the win against Fiji, we knew like we're a proper rugby team. And then with those games, it came the opportunity to play first against South Africa, then against Scotland in Murrayfield, and now it comes the opportunity to play against Ireland. Of course, we see this as a massive opportunity for us to enjoy rugby, to play rugby at its full, and with the best opposition ever. We can speak about, of course, South Africa, Scotland, and everything. But I think we cannot have this conversation amongst the team every time. So, it's going to be a great opportunity. Let's show. let's enjoy rugby. No, we start to our our um, our words will have to go for compete. We need to compete against these teams. That was a big focus on the World Cup in 2023. Of course,
Yeah,
we know that Ireland is an amazing team. We trained against them. They were top, the number one in the world for before the World Cup. They were when we trained against them in the
yeah,
Algarve. They were the number one team in the world. We know how they play. We know our weaknesses, but still, we'd have to change our mentality and don't see this as an opportunity. We have to see this as a game where we want to compete and we want to do the best possible. If you ask me, are you guys going to win? I will tell you probably no. But
yeah,
still, we want to show something. We want to show something different. We want to. Portuguese rugby, honestly, at the moment is not going through a great moment because we're
mm,
we're having a lot of tough tough things going on
yeah.
with
Bit of a rebuild. Bit of a
yeah,
rebuild's going.
rebuild, and
Yeah,
we have to change that something. We have to show that something is changing. Something is it's happening in Portuguese rugby, and if we can use the game against Ireland for that, that would be perfect.
because it's back. We're back at the Estadio Nacional, correct?
Yeah, exactly. That's
What a
our home.
what
That's
a
where we train every day. That's where we are every single day, and we have to be a bit uh, more proud.
clinical and
Yeah,
yeah,
and honestly proud, because it's really tough for because after the World Cup, a lot of players change and the core group changed quite a bit, and a lot of
yeah,
youngsters came in, and sometimes I'm not sure if the younger players know the responsibility that they have when they use the Portuguese jersey, and
yeah,
I think we have to be a bit more proud in what we're doing and what we're representing, and these kind of opportunities to play against Ireland, South Africa, Scotland, they
yeah,
came because we did quite a lot in the last few years, and the
yeah.
amount of sacrifices that the players that have been involved in the last few years in the national team, they speak for themselves. So I think that is a message I'll be sure that I will pass to the younger players.
Because it's as the All Blacks say, you only borrow the shirt. You've got to leave it in a better place than the player the player before. So
Exactly, definitely.
we've obviously touched on the World Cup 2023. How amazing was that to go and probably shock a rugby world as well? Because a lot of people didn't expect you guys to do what you did, and there's a lot of players that have probably come out with a sizable market value increase as
Yeah.
well. So they've made them set. And people love to talk about Portuguese rugby, and there was obviously the social media followings increased, but it's like a lot of these events as well and triggers. You can't always capitalize on it in the moment or just afterwards because it's it kind of goes off like a firework, doesn't it? And then you're trying to catch that firework, but trying to figure out how to create the impact afterwards. How was that World Cup for you? Like to be able to pull on that Portuguese jersey, belt out the national anthem that you guys do. That must have been one of those. It's
Yeah,
probably just below your kids being born and marrying your wife. Obviously, we've got to put them first, but
yeah, exactly.
that's got to be there, isn't it? Surely.
No, it is. It is. Of course, I remember the first time against Wales when I stepped in that stadium.
Yeah,
That was like, man, this is happening. It's like the all of the efforts that we've done throughout the years. Now they're
yeah,
paying off, and this is. I've told this many times. So you probably know the struggles as a family that wives and the family has to do for players to play rugby at this level.
yeah,
And you know that my wife told me after the first game, like she told me, now I understand the amount of efforts that we did as a family. And
wow,
only now it makes sense
yeah,
because before that she was used to seeing me play in a 100-seat stadium with 30 people watching, and
yeah,
even when I played for the national team, there were a few big games with like 2,000, 3,000, 5,000. There was something like that. And
Yeah.
even when we qualified in Dubai, my wife was not there.
Well.
So this was like the moment that everyone was waiting for, not just the players, the players, the staff, the union, the families, and every fan in Portuguese rugby was waiting for this. And I
Yeah.
think the way we did it was so good, and so and not even just for us, for everyone involved in that, they just deserved it. And if the way that, like, the thousands and thousands of people who flew from Portugal to stadiums in France to watch us play, people, I saw people that they didn't even have a connection with rugby, and they just heard about it and they went, and they started to
Wow.
be a rugby fan after that. And I think the way we did and we performed in the World Cup was, so in first training. This is a story that I've told many times as well. So we knew after those games against Italy, Japan, Argentina 15, we understood our value, and we understood, like, we can do something, we can shock the world. But no one believed in us. I'm 100% no one believed in us when we reached the first training. So our first game in the World Cup was on the 12th of September. We got into the camp on the 26th of June. So when we got into the camp on first training, I told the boys, and after speaking with Patrice as well, I've told the boys, guys, we're going to win against Wales. We're going to win against Wales. And the first time I said it, most players were laughing. They're saying, "Oh, come on, this guy's crazy." And I said, "Believe me, we're going to win against Wales." And second training, so 27th of June, I said, "Boys, we're going to win against Wales." And there were not that many laughs after that.
Yeah.
Training, I said it again, and no one was laughing. Fourth, fifth, sixth, I said it again, and at something like 10th after that, other players were starting to say it. Boys, we're going to win against Wales. We're going to win against Wales. We're going to win against Wales. And that mentality, I think, it changed the way we faced training and we faced the preparation.
Yeah.
We faced everything, and of course, we didn't win against Wales. That was the thing. But I think the process we built, it was to win against Wales. That was the process who made us win against Fiji. And every time we step onto the field in the World Cup was to win, and we were 100% confident that we were going to win every single game. It didn't happen. It didn't happen the way we wanted. Of course, we had that draw against Georgia. But still, I think the balance of the World Cup is insane for us.
And that's the thing. It put Portuguese rugby on the map. So we obviously probably need to touch on the Rugby Europe Championships this season. Obviously didn't end in the way that you guys started the championships. Obviously, we caught up after the Iberian Derby. And then obviously you guys had the Romania game in Portugal. What is your sort of debrief of the European Championships? Because it's you didn't play the last game either, did you? So it kind of ended in a bit of a damp ending, obviously because of the weather was horrendous as well for the last game. But it became a bit of an anticlimax of a championship for yourselves. You started so well, and then it just kind of tipped off. Is that how you saw it, or
so? It's not it was a so it has been tough. So this, as we spoke before, this rebuild of the national team has been tough, and I think we took too long to start this rebuilding process since 2023. So we have that thing going on with having a new coach in the beginning, just straight after the World Cup. Then we didn't find a new coach for the rec in 2024. We had to work with an Argentinian with Argentinian staff from the from World Rugby, and I think these kind of process take a while to build, and we just started late, and I think Simon and his staff didn't have the the time to build everything properly because a World Cup qualification was coming in.
Yeah.
And our main focus, of course, was to qualify. So we've reached the final of the Rugby Europe Championship in 2023-24.
Yeah.
But honestly, this year, 2025, our main focus was not
Qualified.
Was the qualification, was not to win that. We didn't even have the players availability, the whole group available for the 5 games. So we had to manage. So we, and I say we as a staff, players, and union, everything we had was managed in the way it could. And I think now, as we are qualified for the World Cup, we have time to build a solid process. And of course, it was an anticlimax. It started really well. I think we started really well because we were like really motivated. The World Cup, the World Cup, the World Cup. And I think we lost a lot of energy preparing for not even. I'm not saying like physical energy, but a lot of psychological and mental availability for those. And after that, we were just trying to find ourselves, and we know, and honestly, I think Spain has a really solid project. They're ahead of ourselves. I think we have better results in the last few years, but they have a really, really strong base of the pyramid, as we were speaking about. And it's tough for me to say that, but in a few years, I think they'll be ahead of us and we saw it through this game. I think we can try to compensate in the next 2 years, and we have to.
Yeah.
But still, Spain has a really solid project, and they were I don't know what to say. What happened?
They were better on the day, weren't they? And
they were better on the day. Yeah.
And obviously there's probably as you said, the projects have crossed between your rebuild and their sort of increment. Obviously, the Romania game was probably the biggest shock because I kind of did not, even after the Spain game, I did not expect Romania to sort of do a number on you like they did.
Yeah, I think there was one game. I don't want to get that game as a mirror of what was happening because as you said, terrible weather. It was that terrible weather is the perfect game for them. We were missing a lot of players. We were completely how do you say
rotated. Fully rotated. There was loads of players not out. There was new players.
Still, as I was talking then, mentally I don't think we were available for that game, and it's not. I don't want to say it as an excuse, but I think after the qualification of the World Cup, we should. I think we should have prepared things better for this Rugby World Cup, but I'm pretty sure we will learn our lessons from that campaign. That it honestly was not good. Was not good enough. We reached the main goal that was qualified for the World Cup, but still is not good for the standards we want.
Yeah. So 2 years left till the World Cup, 2027, Australia. Are you still going to be there and captain in Portugal? Is that the swan? Is that the swan song, or are you going to another one out after?
No. If you ask me, I want to be present in the World Cup 2027. I want to lead this team on that World Cup, but you'll never know. I'll need to. At the moment, I'm focusing on performance. I need to perform. I need to play well. I need to show the staff that I'm still capable. I'm not getting younger, but I think I can make it. I think I can still perform. So that's my individual goal, and of course, in terms of collectives goal, we want to do more than we did in the 2023 World Cup. We're not sure about like we don't have a proper goal because we don't know yet the proper format of 2027 World Cup. But still, we want to shock the world again. We'll do everything for it. We have way more time to prepare for the World Cup. So, but yeah, individually, I want to be there for sure.
Amazing. One last thing then. The players that you get to see coming through, who's a player that you suggest people keep an eye on in the Portugal scene at the minute that's going to become a potential superstar? Because there's a few lads that are playing well over in France and stuff, but there's got to be one that stands out that you stand back and think, this kid, he's special.
So what I would... So, of course, you have the names like Rafael Storti, Rodrigo Marta, but they are proper known names already in France. Even the way Storti performed in Pro D2, even Rodrigo Marta, even José Madeira, they are brilliant players, but they're not that young already. But the one that I think people should keep an eye on is Manel Vareiro. He just signed a contract in France. He's moving to France. He's one of the biggest talents in the under 20s. He showed that he has the potential to be in the first team of Portugal. Honestly, and I've told him this, I don't think he was brilliant on the Rugby Europe Championship on the last 2 games playing at 10. But still, I'm 100% that he has the potential. I am 100% sure that he will reach that top level and he will be a fundamental piece of this squad. And I think everyone should keep an eye on him.
Amazing. Thomas, I really appreciate your time, mate. I know you've got to get back to your family and you've already given us far too much.
I really, really enjoyed it. Sometimes it's good to just send these ideas out and send my opinions out is good.
It's perfect. Obviously, I'm there for the Portugal Ireland game, so hopefully we can catch up after the game and hopefully with a better result than the last time I got to see you.
Yeah, hopefully.
Really appreciate your time, mate. Thank you.
Thank you very much, mate. Thank you.
Right, so for everyone else that wants to keep abreast of any other episodes that we've got coming up on Rugby Through the Leagues, we've obviously recently done a couple of international captains. Drop me a message, let me know if you fancy me trying to interview anyone else, and we'll see what we can do. But for everyone that's joined us, really appreciate it. Thank you, and goodbye.